Hello! In this video I'm unboxing this MaxXFan Deluxe. So I'm going to show you what you get in the box. I'm also going to plug it in and see how it operates. I want to see the sound levels of it because it's supposed to be really quiet. And I thought it'd be interesting to see how loud it actually is. And I'm going to play around with the remote control to see how that works. Now the cover of the fan comes in 3 different colors. We've gone for tint because we wanted some light to come down through the ceiling. If we've got all the blinds and the shades closed, we still have some natural light coming in the top of the van. But you can also get this in a smoked color, and you can also get it in a white color. But like I said, we've got them for the tint, which is like a tinted clear color. The fan also comes in 2 different sizes, and I'll explain what the difference is in just a couple of minutes. So here's what we got in the box. So obviously I've got the Maxx air fan here, and you can see this is pretty big. And I've got some instructions just here telling me how to fit it. I've got my remote control, and there's a couple of screws and a bracket in there. And of course, I've got a load of screws here. I've got a male and female connectors. So that's pretty handy, it comes with those. And all these screws here are stainless steel. So that's also good. And here we have the inner frame just to finish it off on the inside. Now the one thing which is missing from this is a roof retaining flange. That's because I already fitted it onto the van. So that's why it's not here, but basically that flange there goes on the bottom of the unit here, and you just screw the fan directly onto it. It's really simple to do. And you can see here how I fitted it on the van, and then it's just a case of dropping the fan directly onto it. As simple as that. So let's just move this to one side and take a look at the fan. So the fan itself, obviously we got the motor on the top. Like I said, this is a tinted version. So you can see it's kind of like a off clear. So I'm going to get a bit of light down through there. I'm going to look on the bottom here. We've got a fly screen, so that's going to stop any flies from coming back in again. We can release that by just turning these knobs here. They are quite stiff, but then that's good because you don't want this dropping off. There we go. Just turn these around like that, and then this is going to release this mesh here like that. We take that around, and you can see that just comes off like that. So you can then give it a clean. And you can also then give your fan a bit of a clean if it needs cleaning. All right, let's just pop that back on again. And you just clip all the clips back on again, and then that stops any flies from getting in. Although it's not going to stop midges, you need something a lot finer than this to stop midges from coming in. Now we've got this wheel just here. This allows you to open and close the fan without any electricity. So if I just turn that, you can see how that opens up like that, and that's it. So that's fully open like that, and you can see how that would then sit on the van, and then this opens up and the air gets sucked in here, and obviously it gets blown down there, or it gets blown out, because I can run the fan in either direction. One of the reasons why we chose this fan is because you can keep the fan open without the fan actually running, and because of its design, you're not going to get any rain coming in. This means at night time we can leave the fan open and we can get good ventilation in the van. You can see the 4 screws on the sides, got 2 here and 2 on the other side, and that just holds the fan on and stops it from blowing away. That's literally all that holds it on. That's also really useful if you ever need to do any maintenance on it, because all you need to do is to undo the 4 screws and then you can lift the fan out. Obviously there is the electrical connection you need to disconnect, but that's pretty much it. It just comes off really nice and simply. Now something else you need to be aware of when you're fitting on your van is you do have this overhang on the back here. So make sure that you allow for that, because that is pretty important. Because on my installation on my VW Crafter medium wheelbase, I fitted 3 solar panels, and then the Maxx air fan literally only just fitted by about 5 mil. So it was really important that I got this exactly right, and I got the panels in exactly the right place, and I could just about squeeze this particular model on the van. Now I'm just going to close this down and just show you the overhang you got here. So there's my ruler there. So from the edge here, which is where this is where the flange goes up against. If I measure it against there, you can see that's roughly, well, it's 202 millimeters. So you want to leave at least 205, I would say, to be sure, 205 millimeters. Now this MaxXFan Deluxe comes in 2 different sizes, and that's 350 millimeters and 400 millimeters. Now, as I understand it, the fan unit is exactly the same, but the flanges and the holes that you'll need to cut are different. Now, I didn't realize this at the time of buying my fan, but with hindsight, I would have bought the 350mm fan, because the holes that let the air in are exactly the same size on both flanges, but the hole that you need to cut for the 400 obviously is bigger, and that's because the flange is slightly different. Now, the idea of this is if you're replacing an old fan, you could pick one which is going to fit the hole which is already in your van. But obviously there's no point in cutting a bigger hole in your van than you actually need to. So getting the fan with the smaller cutout would have been a better option for me. And the fact it was quite critical that where I put the fan, it was actually really annoying that I realised that I had to cut a bigger hole because it nearly messed me up. So here I am fitting the flange to the van, and you can see there's the cutout size, which is 350, and then you see there's a raised part on that flange, and that is then 400 wide. And on my installation, I did have to cut some of this away. So yeah, so just be really careful about that. Now, obviously, you can watch my video on how to install it, and I'll show you those dimensions and the real near issue, which I came to when I cut the hole, but luckily it all worked out fine. Now on here, we also have the electrical cables tucked in there. You've got black and white, pretty straightforward, plus and minus, so we know which are which. So that's nice and easy. They just got to unwrap together. Just unwrap those and just see how much play we've got there. You got about 600mm there of cable, and then that's just clipped in underneath here. So there's not really any way to remove these cables. So if you do ever need to service it, you want to make sure that you can get to these clips. Don't tuck them right back underneath the van, because then if you do ever need to take this out, you're not going to be able to get to the clips. So make sure they are accessible. So just show you this little shroud here. Obviously, once this goes into the roof, into the vent, this just fits straight on top, and it just keeps everything looking nice and neat. So that goes on the other side, and then that just literally fits perfectly around the outside of the fan there. And then we don't see any wires. And then you trim this plastic back to whatever depth that you need it. You can see there's a little guideline there maybe. So yeah, you can trim that back to make it the correct size. Now, something else I thought I'd just mention, I've seen on a couple of forums, people say that they've had the circuit board go on the MaxxFan. They've said they've had too much voltage and it's blown the circuit board. Now, I was a little concerned about that, so I looked in the book. I couldn't find any voltage tolerance which this works to, so I actually emailed MaxxAir. They came back to me really quickly and said that this unit will go from 10.3 volts up to 15 volts, and it should handle that without any problem at all. But if you're worried about the voltage going in, whether it's going to damage the PCB, then you can get a little voltage regulator. They don't cost very much, and you just put it in line, and that will ensure that it only ever receives 12 volts. So that's something you could think about if you're worried about that voltage and blowing your PCB. In the book, it says that the maximum power that this unit will take is 5 amps. And of course it needs a 12 volt supply. That equals 60 watts. Right, now I think I'm ready to put some power on it and see what happens. Right, so now I've connected up this battery. This is just an 11 volt battery. It's a LiPo battery. I use it on model planes. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and we're just going to see what's going to happen. So we got the on and off button just here. Let's just press that and see what happens. Now you can operate the fan directly from the buttons which are on the fan, or of course you can use the remote control. Now I haven't read the instructions yet. I'm literally just plugging it in and seeing what it does. So there you go. That's the fan now running. The fan is now opened up. That looks pretty good. Just turn that around so you can see that. See the fan's running there. I can hear it's running. We've got an open and close here. And we also, it says plus and minus, so I guess that's speed. Goes faster. So this fan has 10 different running speeds. And a double beep means that it's at its maximum speed. So there's the maximum speed and that's maximum loudness. That is pretty loud. I'm just going to put my microphone next to it so you can hear this. So there we go. Let's see if that's coming out. Yes, it's reasonably loud, but it is pretty fast. So let's just turn it down. There we go. Double beep. It's at its slower speed now. Putting my microphone right next to it was a little unfair, but then when I turned the fan right down to 10%, the microphone hardly picked up any sound at all. But yeah, I can't really hear that. But I know it's obviously it's running. We see it going round. Let's just get a tissue here, see what that's doing. Oh, that's sucking at the moment. So we can change it. I can push the in and out. So let's press that. The fan stops and it goes the other way. So now it's blowing air in. And there we go, just put that on top just to show you it's blowing air in. And let's just speed it up again. That's it, maximum speed. And we got plenty of wind being blown in there. Okay. And you can hear, obviously that is a lot louder, but as you expect. There we go, it's down to its end. And if we want to close it, you just press the off button. I'm guessing. And there we are. That's now all closed. So let's just test out this remote control and see how that works. So what we got in here is sealed up again. Some bubble wrap. Okay. Again, I haven't read the instructions yet. I'm just... Obviously, I had a look on how to install it, but not how to actually run it. So we've got a nice little carriage there, or holder just to put it in. Comes with a couple of screws to screw it down. So that's all good. And then we got a couple of little AA batteries. Let's just put the two batteries in. Obviously, make sure they're the right way around. And now the displays come on. I see it says off. It's telling me the temperature, and it's a lovely sunny day here in England. And it is 25 degrees and the room temperature is 35 degrees. That's probably because it's on this side and the sun is shining on it. It is actually quite hot. And it says it's closed also, so we know exactly what's going on with this. So that's what we got here. So let's look at buttons. We got auto, we got plus and a minus, we got fan, speeds, that's big fan, small fan, obviously up and down, open and close, and reverse. So let's just open it. Okay, so if you just press the open button, it just opens it. So I'm thinking I could be lying in bed and I can just press that and I can open it up. And then if I want a little bit of air flowing, all right, okay, I guess what I'm gonna do is press on and off first of all. So let's press the power button. Yeah, fan on, open, speed 30%. Okay, and action. And there we go, that's the fan. So the fan is now at 40%. You can hear that there. 30%, 20%, 10%. And at 10%, you can hardly hear it. I can reverse the fan from here. So press reverse. I like that it stops. And just before it stops spinning, it reverses. So that's pretty cool as well. I like that. Right, so the auto mode. So what that allows you to do when you press that button there is to set a preset temperature. So if the fan reaches that temperature, the fan will open up and start running, cooling your van down. I guess that can be really useful, particularly at night time. So to set it, all we'll do is to press the auto like that. And then I can adjust the temperature up and down using these plus and minus buttons like that. And there we go, we've entered auto mode now and the fan is now running. We've got the green light on there to show that it's in auto mode. Don't know how well that comes out, but you can see that green light is on. And then when the room reaches a temperature which is set, essentially this one is 21 degrees, it should then close the vent and then turn the fan off. Anyway, you get the idea. I need to read the instructions just a little more to make sure I'm completely clear on that. But I think this remote control is going to be really useful when I'm lying in bed. I just want to turn the fan on or turn it off. Or just open it up just to get a little bit of airflow. Right, so that's about it for this Maxx air fan. just unboxing it and seeing how it operates. I hope that's helped you out if you're just wondering what this unit does and how loud it is and how much air it moves. So yeah, I hope that really helps you out. Obviously, if you want to see my installation of it, you'll find that in the cards above now. And of course, you can see all the links to my other videos in the description below. If you found it useful, of course, you can always click on that thumbs up, and don't forget, click on that subscribe to see more of my help videos, and ring on that bell if you want to get a notification. Share this with all the other van buddies who are building their vans, and that's about it. Oh, and if you want to get me a cup of coffee, that's always really appreciated. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.